Welcome to another Visual Basic video tutorial. In this video we're going to look at creating a database driven application. And for this video we're going to make a real simple basic contacts application. So by the end of this video you'll have a full working contact project built and ready for use. Over the next two or three videos after this one, I'm going to be adding some of our own functionality to our application by getting into some code. So to get started, fire up Visual Basic if you want to follow along and create a new project. I just created mine, project-data, and once your form loads up, we are ready to get started. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into my Solution Explorer and I'm just going to create a new folder. I'm just going to call this one Database. Now you don't have to create a folder. I like to do that because I like to keep my project organized. And so if you do that, then right click and go Add New Item. If you don't choose to add a folder, then right click on your project name and click Add New Item. And I'm just going to click on the service-based database icon, so it'd be an MDF file, and we're just going to call it contacts. Click Add, and that's going to open up a data source wizard. We can just cancel out of this for now because we don't have anything that would become useful in our project. So you can see here in our project now we have a contacts.mdf. That should be my folder. Okay, so we want to double click on that and that'll open up our database explorer. You can see here that there's a list of folders here. The only one we're going to be focusing on is the tables folder. If you expand it, it should be empty. So now you want to right click and click Add New Table. Okay, I'm going to move rather quickly here. So my first row here, I'm going to put in contact ID. And I'm going to make the data type of integer. Not going to be a nullable field. And we want to set a primary key on that. Then we want to go down in the column properties and look for identity specification. And we will choose yes. And it'll increment our records by 1. So our next column, we'll put in first name, and we'll just make that one a varchar 50. Last name, varchar 50, and we'll go male. We'll make this one a bit, and then a female. Also make that one a bit, and maybe we'll put in telephone. We'll make that one a varchar, I don't know, let's go 20. And maybe we will ask for maybe an email address. We'll make that one a varchar 75 and maybe an address. And we'll make that one a varchar 50 as well. Okay, so once we have all our fields created here, we're going to click Save. And this will ask us to name our table, which we'll just name it Contact. Click OK. Okay, and then we'll close out of that. Now sometimes it's a good idea to go in there and add a few sample contacts. So if you look in the Database Explorer under tables, you'll see our table that we just created. So you want to right click on that and go click on Show Table Data. And this will show us all records that have been entered into our database. So I'm just going to put in a record here. Whoops. Escape that. Telephone. Let's put in an email. And I'll also put some address. Okay, and I'll put in one more. John Doe. John_Doe@mail.com. Okay, so we got a couple records in here. So now we can just close out of that. Now next thing we want to do is we want to attach a data source of our database. So if you don't see the tab here on your right or on your left, then you just click on data from the menu and click add new data source. And with database selected, we're going to click next. And a contact connection string, had this from a previous project. Let's click on contacts. Then we'll click next. Contacts connection string, good enough. Click next. And then if you expand our tables, you can see our table that we just created. So we'll click on that and we'll click finish. Okay, so now we attached our data source. So now if you go into our data source tab here, let's click on our table. We'll choose from the drop down details. And then we'll click and drag that out onto our form. And you can see that it's generating all the controls that we need for it to work. Okay, so now I'm just going to organize this a little bit here. Let's drag that up there. Change the properties on the checkboxes here. Let's change the text female and male. And I'll just delete those two labels there, things that we don't need them. Okay, and then the next thing we're going to do is jump back into our data source tab. From our drop down, we're going to choose data grid view. Click, drag that out onto our form. Okay, so I got that onto our form. Now let's run the application and see what Visual Basic has done for us without having to write any code. Okay, so you can see here that we got a full working database application here, contact form. So if I want to make any changes, I can just make changes here. Click save, and you can see that it automatically updates in the data grid view. So that's pretty neat. You can add a new record. We'll put in John Smith. Make him a male. Phones, go 111 1111 John@mail.com. Click save, and now you can see here that we have a new record added that automatically adds to our form without any refreshing going on. Now we can always go in here and also add a record here. So we'll just put in Sarah Smith. Guess that name would be female. And we can click save. And now you see that we have our records here. You can also navigate throughout data grid view. So that's a pretty powerful functionality going on here without having to write any code. Now, over the next couple videos, we're going to get into some more functionality, add some of our own controls that make it work with our application, as well as do some formatting and some other neat things. So this concludes this video, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.